In the first part of this series, we talk about expensive flights, housing struggles, local transportation around the town, limited banking options, the weather, and so much more. This series is meant to talk about the realities of life in northern Canada and beyond. For those of you who want to relocate, for those of you that are seeking to work here on contractual basis. When some people come here, they actually ask the question, how does this place really function? This is where this video is helpful to you. So if you plan on relocating to Nunavut, specifically Iqaluit, some of the tips here, some of the advices here are for you. Stick with me till the end. Hi everyone, welcome back to Grace and Grit with Queen, where we grow, we learn, and we share real life experiences people don't always prepare you for. And if you're new here, this channel is all about faith, personal growth, real life experiences, and the realities of life in northern Canada and beyond. At this point, if you've not yet watched the part 1 of this series, I'll suggest you should do so, because right at this point, this whole series is turning into a full survival manual. You don't want to miss on the things I said in the part 1 of the video. Catch you there. Now, let's proceed. Let me talk about something emotionally sensitive. Grocery life in Nunavut. This is not a joke, guys. Let me prepare you mentally for grocery shopping in Nunavut, because your relationship with groceries changes once you come up north. We don't have giant grocery stores like Costco, Walmart, IGA, and bulk brands. No long chains of Asian grocery stores like Kim Fat, no endless dollar stores on every corner, which people are used to in the southern parts of Canada. And grocery prices in Nunavut is expensive. But we do have a couple of places here that provide us with such services. And with time, renovations and development is making everything seem like how we are used to seeing it down south. Some of the stores up here are Arctic Ventures, North Mart, Baffin Canal, and these grocery stores become part of your everyday life in Nunavut. The prices may not be the same as those in the south, but they still offer a wide variety of products. One thing to keep at the back of your mind, depending on the community in which you are located in, grocery prices can become more and more expensive. You know, it is often said the higher you go, the colder it becomes. And here, the higher you go, the more expensive it becomes. Are you prepared? Let's just say the higher salaries compensate for that, or doesn't it? The people living in such communities in the comment section can tell us. Now, something you should keep in mind about when I tell you groceries in Nunavut is very expensive. You know, imagine in the southern towns, southern communities, you're purchasing a pop for $1. Up here, you'll be purchasing that same pop for $5. And that is no joke, guys. Yes, grocery prices in Nunavut is very, very expensive. After talking about grocery shopping in Nunavut, we cannot go without mentioning fast food chain, guys. In Nunavut, there are no giant fast food chains like the ones that exist in the southern communities. Here, there are no Uber Eats that you just sit on your phone and you're just pressing it and ordering Uber Eats at 11 p.m., 1 p.m., you're passing an order. No, guys. And guess what? There are no McDonald's. And before you panic, there are other options that people are able to use. Find places like Tim Hortons, Black Hat Cafe, Hunter's Market, Beaver Tails, DJs, and a couple of quick stops which you can order some food and snacks from. There are also other takeout restaurants, and honestly, these local food spots become your survival plan very quickly. Let's talk about something that will interest my African people. There are no giant chains of African stores, but we do have one African store that sells spices and many cultural food items you need to make a meal feel special. This African store handles meal takeouts, so definitely check out their daily menus. That is, if you have a chance to drop in Iqaluit. Now, If you had watched the part one where I was talking about Facebook community groups, this is something that has to come in play because on those groups, there are some people that sell homemade meals, African homemade meals at different times. So you just have to join those communities as an advice very early so you stand a chance of seeing all those juicy announcements they always post on there. This is just a tip for those of you relocating to other communities in Nunavut or in Iqaluit. One thing I genuinely respect about northern communities, there are resources that try to support people. You would find things like food banks, food baskets, community support programs, local organizations helping families and newcomers. And honestly, that community support matters. And somehow, between grocery runs, homemade meals, and community support systems, the North suddenly starts feeling like home. That is the exact feeling you would want to have when you come up here. Now, let's talk about something you want to know before moving up north. Temporary accommodation. Whatever community you choose to relocate to or to have your contractual job in, you want to know more about their temporary accommodation because accommodation here is a real battle. One thing people quickly realize after coming north is that finding a place to stay is not always easy. And honestly, you cannot approach housing in Iqaluit the same way you would in southern Canada. In many southern cities, once a hotel is full, you'll just look around and check your phone and book the next available accommodation. But here in the north or in Iqaluit or wherever you're located in, it is not as such. Here it's different because accommodation is limited. We only have a few hotels and many of them are constantly busy. And because in general, housing and accommodation is limited, those hotels and guest houses we have fill up very fast, more than people always expect them to be. So if you're planning on coming to the north for work, contracts, training, relocation, vacation, or even just visiting family and friends, please book your accommodation ahead of time. Do not wait until the last minute because sometimes the hotels are fully booked with medical travel patients coming from smaller communities, government workers with temporary accommodation issues with their units, contractors from the south, airline staff, rotational workers, and suddenly every room in town disappears. Sometimes when visitors come to Nunavut, they always find themselves in situations that could be avoided way ahead of time. But there are other options aside hotels that can help. There are Airbnbs, you have house sitting opportunities. Sometimes it happens rarely, but it does happen. House sitting opportunities. You have guest houses that are available as well. But even those can become difficult to find because demand is higher and availability is always low. Honestly, word of mouth becomes very important up here. Sometimes people find temporary places through Facebook groups, co-workers, friends, and community connections. Once you're settled in Nunavut, one thing you quickly realize is that accommodation affects everything. I mean, everything. It affects your mood, it affects your work, it affects how long people intend to stay here. As such, when people find a secured accommodation or a secured place to stay, they guard it with all of their might. So, if you ever plan on relocating to Nunavut, if you ever plan on visiting family and friends in Nunavut, something you should know is make sure to plan early, budget properly, and always have a backup plan because accommodation in Nunavut is never something you should gamble with. Hope this helps someone that intends visiting Nunavut someday. Let's get to the part a lot of people forget, but it hits differently when they get here. The absence of shopping malls in Nunavut. This is for those whose hobbies include shopping, my shopaholics, my fashionistas, mention them. There are no giant shopping malls in Nunavut. When people first arrive, they don't realize how much they depended on these stores. You suddenly start missing random things like hangers, storage bins, cheap slippers, phone charger, things you used to buy casually without even thinking. And that's when it hits you. You were emotionally attached to southern convenience. But what northern communities do have is something different. Places like the local supermarkets I just listed above, some other stores that have locally made items like carvings, handmade jewelry, crafts, traditional pieces, and artwork will actually contain some of the items you're looking for. And honestly, one thing I love about the North is that the art here feels meaningful and real. It's not produced in mass, not factory made. This is real culture, real people, and real history. You actually feel the connection between the land, the people, and the artwork. And over time, you start appreciating things differently. That is less quantity, but more meaning. And this mindset shifts is one of the most beautiful parts of living in northern Canada. So if you ever intend relocating, if you ever intend coming here for visits, visit your local stores or local vendors that you have and get your basic needs at affordable prices, because up north, even if we do have these things, it wouldn't be at the prices of your convenience. This is for someone who wants to save their pennies. But if you're that expensive person who doesn't care about $1 more, come here with open arms and receive those prices with joy. Now, because shopping options are limited, guess who becomes everybody's best friend? Amazon becomes your roommate. No, scratch that. Amazon becomes your run-to for your basic needs. Listen, Nunavut would turn even the most unserious shopper into a professional package tracker. You start monitoring deliveries like it is government operations. That is life in Nunavut. You will know when the plane is delayed, and the moment your package says out of delivery, your entire mood changes. Most people order things like clothes, electronics, home items, beauty products, kitchen supplies, snacks, personal care. Literally everything they need is ordered online. Because after a while, you realize online shopping up here isn't just for convenience, it is part of survival tactics. And one thing newcomers quickly learn is this: if you see something you need online, order it early, because shipping and weather delays happen, flights can get affected, and suddenly your 2-day delivery mindset from the south disappears very quickly. Believe me, after a while, you would adapt. You'll become more patient. You would eventually learn to order things way ahead of time before you even need them. And suddenly, package deliveries becomes a full emotional roller coaster. Listen, in Nunavut, when your package successfully arrives without any form of injury, people rejoice like a newborn baby was born, because the package was delivered safely. And somehow, between Amazon orders, delivery notifications, online shopping gradually integrates itself in your northern lifestyle patterns. That is how we live here. That is how we survive. And that is how we are conveniently satisfied. Let's talk about the real backbone of Nunavut. The post office runs the country. The post office runs Nunavut. This is one of the institutions which deserves everybody's high respect. When newcomers come to Nunavut, they start asking questions like, oh, where is DHL? Where is FedEx? Where is UPS? Oh no, my dear. The post office is the CEO in this place. The post office handles everything. So your packages, your documents, online orders, important deliveries, all roads lead to the post office. And after a while, visiting the post office becomes part of your routine. You start tracking packages like your life depends on it. You know your tracking number by heart. When you live in the north, deliveries are not just about convenience. They connect people to things they can't easily access locally, like clothes, personal items, gifts for family and friends, and most importantly, comfort foods, things from home. So over time, the post office becomes more than just a building. It becomes part and parcel of your everyday lifestyle. And this is rather funny, but I think every worker there should be able to identify everybody in town just by seeing their faces. Just a joke. But this is a call for collaboration for other prelator services who might be interested to come and open prelator services up here because we really, really need them. But if not, believe me, the post office does an excellent job. You won't have any complaints. This part is for future aspiring residents of Nunavut. Master cargo services very well. And this is especially if your job or contract does not come with any form of subsidized staff housing, whereby the government helps you to relocate everything you possess down south up here. If you don't have a government job that come with housing, I would suggest you take your pen and paper and master cargo delivery services. Because once you would get to the airport and see the kind of prices they have on extra luggages, my dear, it is not funny. You might even end that trip before it started. Cargo services are extremely useful in Nunavut. A lot of people use them to transport extra luggage, furniture, household items, groceries, moving supplies, and much more. And honestly, once you understand how cargo services work and integrate it into your everyday life, it can save you a lot of money and stress. One thing many newcomers don't realize is that planning ahead becomes part of the lifestyle up here. Here comes the part you really enjoy. Before you run out of personal items or grocery items that you're so attached to, put in your mind to always try to repurchase these items online way ahead of time. Try to contact some of these your personal stores or favorite shops down south and see if you can have them ship clothing items to you by cargo. I bet you this is one of the best ways of living in Nunavut, and you will thank your future if you're the kind of person that can properly plan way ahead of time. This will help you against some weather delays and other challenges that you might not be expecting, like strikes and so much more. I hope this tip sticks at the back of your mind. So you can see, life in northern Canada is very different from the one many people imagine. Honestly, that's also what makes it unique. The North teaches you adaptation, patience, simplicity, resilience, and community life. In Nunavut, the more you stay, the more you realize this place has its own rhythm, which is very unique and different from the one in the South. If you have enjoyed this episode, please do not hesitate to like and subscribe to Grace and Grit with Queen. And please tell me in the comment section, what are some of the things that shocked you about moving to Nunavut? Until then, stay grounded, stay growing. This was Grace and Grit with Queen. I will see you again on my next episode. Bye.